metasomatism. There are other ways also to understand the concept of metasomatism by studying some of the entrained rocks which comes from deeper portion, particularly the alkaline rocks, carbonatite, alkali basalt, okay. And when these things are coming, they will pick part of the peridotite. Originally, peridotite will be depleted, but when they undergo metasomatism, you will see xenoliths and xenocrusts of peridotite as picked up portion from the mantle will show enriched character. So, one way, this is a good example to show that mantle metasomatism is taking place by either fluid or addition of liquid, particularly very low degrees partial melts to enrich. This is also showing that many times the depleted part of the mantle gets enriched because of such movement of fluids and melts. The other thing which is very important, that since we know that these rocks on the surface and in the lithosphere, they evolve in different tectonic setting. So, I will be showing some of the examples where these activities take place, mantle metasomatism is taking place and how it works. The best example will be the subduction zone or subduction zone environment, where the oceanic crust starts subducting under the continental crust, and then as it goes down, they start getting heated up and also pressurized. You can imagine that the ocean floor rocks, when they cool, they interact with the sea water and they become very rich in the fluids. So, when they are pushed back during the subduction, they get pressurized, and then these fluids are pushed out of these rocks, and these fluids will try to carry all the large ion lithophile elements, rubidium, barium, strontium, light rare earths, and large ion lithophile elements, potash, sodium, which will go with fluids to the part of the mantle wedge, where the depleted mantle gets enriched, and also this fluid will force this mantle wedge to start melting, because in the presence of fluid, the degree of partial melting will be higher because it is lower pressure also, and then you get something known as the island arc rocks, andesites, basalts. So, I will be showing you some examples. So, now we were discussing a case of subduction zone where we see very good example of mantle metasomatism. As you can see here, this is a typical subduction zone diagram. We have the continental crust on the top, and then we have the part of the oceanic crust which is black, and this whole thing is subducting down. So, as it subducts down, so here this part of the ocean crust will interact with the water here and they get hydrated. As it goes down, it is under pressure, so it releases those fluids, okay, and you can see that these fluids are moving. So, they go, and then this is known as the mantle wedge. So, what happens is that this is part of the mantle which is convecting, and then this is also bringing some of the melts. We can see that peroxidite dikes are here, and then these fluids. So, as these fluids released from the subducting oceanic crust, this area becomes enriched. Originally, it will be depleted, as we know that it is part of the normal depleted mantle, but because of these fluids, this will be enriched through metasematism, and then this fluid will also allow to bring the melting temperature of this region down, and then there will be melting taking place, okay, which will give rise to the island arc, where you have the basalt and andesites, granite, dacite. So, when it is at depth, there will be granite, and when it comes out on the surface, it will be volcanic rocks like basalt and andesite and dacite. So, this is a very good example of how a depleted mantle changes into an enriched mantle and gives rise to the rock, which is now mostly enriched, if we know the chemistry of these rocks in the island arc setting. So, now the other example of mantle metasematism can be seen in this diagram, where we have the mid-ocean ridge, and we have a part of the upper mantle, okay, which is sending melts, through the ocean ridges. So, what happens is, when it is at the shallower level, the melts that is generated will be depleted type MORB, mid ocean ridge basalt, which is exposed and it comes out on the surface. But at the same time, there will be also melting taking place at different levels, which will not go out as mid ocean ridge basalt, but they will be in the form of fluids, and it will be enriching the rocks around this, the country rock, and making these, through the fluids or through low degrees partial melt, which will change the nature of the depleted mantle to enriched mantle. And when the temperature rises here, and also if there is, because of some reason, there is a partial melting, this will give rise to more enriched mantle derived rocks, which will be, say, sort of enriched basalt, or some of the alkaline rocks, which will be of the enriched nature. The other type of enrichment process you can see here is something where you have something known as the mantle plume. So, when it comes out, the upper portion of the plume will generate rocks which will come out on the surface as enriched basalt, because they are coming from depth, and they will take most of the incompatible trace elements from within the plume, and this red type thing which is seeing here will come out ultimately as enriched basalt. But you will also see that there are small portions coming out of this, will be actually metasematizing the whole system. So, once one melt goes out, this becomes depleted, then the new melt comes and enrich the source. So, this is a continuous process where one batch of magma leaves, and then the new batch of magma comes, magma and fluid comes and enrich it. So, this becomes more and more metasematized zone, giving rise to rocks which will be enriched in nature. Now, you can see here another diagram, that when it advances, okay, it will cause extension, because this is hot and it is coming from depth, it pushes this region, and then you will have a extensional regime, where this side will move on the right and the left, and then there will be some sort of faulting and formation of a rift or graben, in which you will have these rocks which are generated, known as the alkaline rocks, alkaline basalts, and also some of the highly alkaline rocks like carbonatites. And so all these things indicate that even from the primitive mantle or depleted mantle, we can generate rocks which will be more of enriched type, and that is because of the mantle somatism. Simple, where there is no mantle somatism, upper portion of the mantle will give rise to mid-ocean ridge basalt, which is depleted type. But here in this case, the basalt that comes out from deeper portion will be more enriched. Now, you can see another diagram. We will be able to generate enriched rocks. So, this is the rare earth pattern, in which, if you see here, it is written N-morb. N-morb will be like this. So, this is the light rare earths, this is the heavy rare earth. So, you will see that light rare earths is less, say about 10 times chondrite compared to the heavy rare earth, which is near less than or about 10 times, but these are less. So, this is the typical pattern that you expect from a rock which comes out of a depleted mantle. This is known as N-morb. N means normal mid-ocean ridge basalt. Now, these patterns, what you see is, this is the light rare earths, lanthanum, cerium, neodymium, samarium. These are called light rare earths, these are called heavy rare earths. So, these things will be preferentially enriched because of mantle somatism. So, you will have more light rare earths compared to the heavy rare earths. So, the light rare earths versus heavy rare earths ratio for the enriched rocks like Ocean Island basalt, lamproids, orangites, kimberlites, they are all alkaline rocks. So, alkaline rocks coming from deeper portion will have very much enriched character compared to the typical mid-ocean ridge basalt. So, mid-ocean ridge basalt, the light rare earth by the heavy rare earths, the ratio is almost 1 or even less than 1, whereas these are thousands, the difference is, say here it is like 1 time and here it is 1000 times. So, you can see that there is a big difference that happens because of the mantle metasomatism that takes place in the mantle. And also in the lithosphere, these rocks can also be generated if you make some sort of extension regime in the lithosphere. There will be small partial melts that will have these type of characters, and they will erupt on the surface of the earth as OIBs and lamproids and kimberlites, okay, because of the extensional regime that the lithosphere will see. Lithosphere extends up to the depth of 250 to even 400 kilometers. So, whenever there is some tectonic movement and there is extension, there is possibility of having these type of rocks generated because of the mantle metasomatism that takes place in different parts of mantle. Now, let us see another area which is a typical mantle plume. This is a rift zone, as I was telling you, that when we have these mantle plumes coming from depth, there will be pressure and extension of the continental crust and lithosphere. Lithosphere is here. So, what will happen here? You will form a rift valley. So, in this rift valley, you will have different types of rocks which are enriched rocks coming from the mantle plume. So, you can see this is the magma chamber, these are the entrained melts, these are the melts and vapor. So, they are all agents of metasomatism. The whole area gets metasomatized and then gives rise to different enriched rocks like kimberlite, nephlinite, carbonatites, okay. And many times these cannot come to the surface, then they get crystallized here, and then they come out as xenoliths for the younger rocks that come. So, this is a very good example that metasomatism is taking place in the mantle at different tectonic conditions, be it a rift setting or be it a subduction zone. So, rift setting is normally extensional regime, whereas the subduction zone is normally an extension, subduction zone is compressive regime. So, irrespective of the tensional or comprehensive regime, the metasomatism takes place, changes the asthenosphere or the lower part of the mantle into enriched portion of mantle to give rise to enriched mantles and enriched rocks. Now, how these things happen, the cryptic melting, particularly when the melt is generated or the fluid is released, they go along these grain boundaries, and they slowly interact with the crystal and change the composition of the crystal. Okay, so these are, say, fluids. They can be on the surface of the crystal or at the edges or at the triple junction, where they will melts will accumulate and then come out. So, what will be left will be these things, which will be interacting with the crystals and changing its habit and the composition through crypting. Although the mineral remains same, but the trace element and minor element composition of the crystal changes, and ultimately that will be the change. If you change the chemistry of the mineral, the rock chemistry changes from depleted to enriched type. So, this is one of the ways. You can see another example is here, where you have originally ultramafic pod or a body of ultramafic rock surrounded by pylites. So, when the metasomatic fluid comes, okay, it changes the original minerals. Say, for example, if it was originally peridotite, it will have mostly olivine and some pyroxenes. So, they will change into antichorite, talc, actinolite, chlorite and biotite, and then this whole rock changes. So, for example, the best example we can give is the generation of serpentinites. To start with, a rock will be ultramafic rocks like dunite, and you bring mantle fluids and metasomatic fluids. It changes from dunite to serpentinite, which will be a totally replacement of the mineral from one to the other, and then the rock also changes. So, these things also happens, the metasomatism, because of alteration that takes place on the surface of the earth, because you have volatiles coming from depth and the rocks which are present on the surface of the earth interacts and changes its chemistry. Okay, so now let us summarize what we learned in this lecture about the mantle metasomatism or the process of metasomatism. Is a process that changes the composition of the rock without changing the morphology of the rock. It can be replacement of one mineral to a new mineral, or which is known as the phase metasomatism or change in the minerals. Whereas the other type of metasomatism is cryptic metasomatism, where the minerals are not changed, but its chemistry in terms of the minor and trace elements is changed. So, a depleted mantle can become an enriched mantle source through mantle enrichment and metasomatism, and same thing can happen in the crust, where we can enrich the crustal sources by sending fluids and melts to the rocks which are already enriched, they become super enriched, and then they can give very, very alkaline rocks ultimately, just like carbonatites and lamproids.